Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for another few minutes of fun. You can see I've still got the mucky fingers from creating these mixed media backgrounds using crackle paste, the Tim Holtz Nordic stencil, some washi tape and various mediums. If you've missed that, I'll put the link for that in the description below so you can take a look at how we created this, though I do say so myself, rather scrumptious texture on these. There's also at the end of that video a beautiful super close-up of the crackle. So I've gathered a few bits and bobs. I don't know what of all of it I'm going to use, but I'm sort of slightly in a lacy mood, which is unusual for me. I've got lots of bits of old lace all over the place, but for simplicity's sake I'm using this lovely Tim Holtz Idea-ology one. It comes in, I think there might be 3 different ones, or is it 2 different ones? There's a skinny one and there's this rather lovely ornate one. I've also got, which I love, the dies, which mean that you can cut a lacy pattern like this out of paper. But for today I'm keeping things simple because it's just a few minutes of fun. If we start getting into die cutting bits of lace and pricking out all the little bits, that's going to take more than just a few minutes. So I'm just going to take a look at this and see whether I really do want it. And I'm giving it a relationship to the strips of washi that are already down there. Yeah, that's too long. Snip a bit off. That's probably too small to be of use in the future. Maybe we do 2 where it's using that one, and we do 2 where it's using this one. Or maybe we do 2 where it's using lace and 2 where it's not using lace. That seems a bit mean. I've also pulled out a couple of twiggy bits because I was feeling quite twiggy. See, twigs beats lace in my world. Like I said, the lace was sort of a slightly unusual desire. Maybe it's both. Maybe it is both. Golly, is that overkill? I think I do like it with the lace. I think I do. For now, I'm going to persevere and cut another few bits of lace. As you can see, I'm pretty much deliberately creating a mess at the ends of the lace here, pulling it apart a bit, so it's got a nice shabbiness to it. Yeah. Persevere. Follow your gut. That's what I'm also always saying, and I should do it too. If you've got a what if you've got a maybe I'd like this today, follow it until there's a reason not to, I think is probably the thing. Until there's a reason to really not. That's a bit long, again, trimming that off. I keep most scraps, but I think those scraps might be a bit small even for me to be keeping. Yeah, good. What I like about the twigs is not only the sort of really random shape of them, it's also that hit of darkness, a slight sort of slightly annoyed by where that washi is. I'm wondering whether I should be going above it even to create a slightly more dynamic difference between them. This one's over to the left. This one's over to the right. That's too long. Off comes a bit. See, it's looking. I'm looking. I'm not making that decision from a sort of conscious thought process. I looked and I thought that lace is too long. And so the next thing is you have to trim it. It has to happen. So I'm wondering whether this one should also go above, again, just to create a little more difference in where things are sitting. That's starting to please my eye. Maybe that twig needs to go that way. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. So I'm going to glue. So the gluing of lace is a difficult matter, to borrow a phrase from T.S. Eliot. although he was naming cats when he thought it was difficult. Best you can do is go for wherever the thickest part of the lace is and try and line up your glue with that. So I've gone for that top ridge. And as per usual with these things, as you pick something up in order to glue it down, it very often shifts its position slightly. That's fine. Sometimes it ends up somewhere better than you thought it would. Sometimes in the placing of it down, your subconscious just goes, no, here is where you really want it. And sometimes you pick it up and you get distracted, and when you go back to put it down, you've completely forgotten where it was you wanted to put it. All these things happen. All of them are fine. All of them are part of the creative process. Things shift, things change, and it's right that they should. So apologies, it is a grey day outside today, so the light may not be as helpful as usual in terms of what you can see and what you can't see, but I hope that you can see enough. Yeah, I'm going to try and get those twigs down now as well. And again, hang on, let's take them off just to check. Oh, you see, maybe I don't want them. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's a lace instead of twig day. See, this is where I would, if I weren't filming, I would probably go away, have a cup of coffee and come back and look at them lying here. In fact, I might just have to do that. Also part of the creative process is to go away, let things simmer, come back and look with fresh eyes. So that's what I'm going to go and do. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, and I hope to be back with you shortly. I might wash my hands while I'm at it as well. Back in a moment. And I'm back, refreshed. Still got inky fingers. For some reason that's really stuck on. It's both. I came back into the room, I took one look, and it's both. So gluing the twigs is sometimes quite a game. This is my favourite for gluing three-dimensional objects. It's the matte super heavy gel. I'm sure Liquitex is not the only make. It happens to be the one I've got. It's kind of like, sort of like peanut butter, I guess. So it's a question of identifying the places where this twig is touching, and I'm pretty sure it's touching sort of here, oops, and here. I like to work with the matte gel because, as you can see, there are going to be bits showing, and if they're matte, they'll just be less sort of present than if they were glossy and light capturing. So as per usual, that may not have gone back down in exactly the place. This one is touching here and sort of here-ish. So let's get a little bit on there. And this is hit or miss. This is hit and miss. Sometimes you put it down and it just goes, yeah, I'm happy to stay there. It's one of the advantages with this buttery thick glue is that this will hold even before it's dry. It's hitting here, it's hitting there. So they will sort of stay in place even when the glue is not yet dry. I'm hoping that's maybe touching there as well. Oh, that's now going right off the bottom there. Do I want it that low? Sorry. Interesting. The one time I go silent is when I'm conferring with twigs about where they want to go. Clearly, I have nothing to say on the matter. It's a question of listening to the twig. There we go. And this one, where's that touching? It's touching kind of pretty much all the way along. That's about the flattest twig I've ever worked with. Let's just run the spatula along and see. Palette knife, really, not a spatula. Spatula's a different thing. Yeah, okay, happy now. And I really want to swap those two over now, because that's, yeah. I don't know why, it was just, it needed to happen. Probably if you're looking at composition from above, you can see why that needed to happen. I sort of want to swap those two over now as well. That's about the thin twig and the thick twig. 2 thin twigs, 2 thick twigs. Good. It is what it is. So that's all looking good. I need to be gentle while that glue is wet. I could give it a quick little blast with the heat gun just to help it along its way. I don't mind that you can see little gobbets of it if you zoom in on your device. That's fine. They're gonna dry translucent in the long run, so they're really not gonna catch the eye. If that's what's catching the eye, then I've done something wrong on the rest of the collage, because really there should be more interesting things than a little gobbet of glue. As witness, perhaps I've got to add a little packet of butterfly images, which I got from one of the evil sites online, Temu or AliExpress, I think, probably. And I'm sort of thinking that I'm feeling butterfly-y. Ooh, look, you could land on a twig, couldn't you? Yes, you could. So when I used some of these flowers on, I think it was on the tea bag sachets, people were pointing out below the line that you can peel them away and they do stick down, which is grand if you're working on a completely flat book page. As you can see here, he's sticking up in the air, and I'm not going to be able to glue him flat to anything. It actually helps to keep him on the acetate because it gives him a bit more heft, a bit more strength to deal with hovering in midair as I'm requiring him to do. So I'm just having a little play with which of these, might want to take place. And I might be able to get them to hover, really hover on the twigs, or I might need to put some little supports behind, in which case I'll show you how I do that. It's sort of, because the background has turned quite green, I'm sort of in need of slightly blue butterflies. View there. And maybe, is there another one? I quite like this one with his wings folded, but I don't know if I've got another foldy wing one. He's too similar. That will be the same shape. Why aren't you facing that way? It's annoying of you. Is there one facing that way? No, there isn't. Ah, are you facing? You're facing that way. Yeah, but then we can't have you next to this one. That's got to go. You'll have to come down here and you'll have to go up there. How do we feel about that? Quite like that. Maybe it's you instead of you. Yes, because then if I go white spatter, then I'm, yeah. Ooh, maybe. No, I like the alighting butterfly. Good. Okay, so let's pop those to one side, or even back in their little packet. And as my fingers are fumbling with the packet, my eyes are looking at the collages to decide if that's really what I want to have. And I think it is. I've also pulled out a couple of little metal buttons, which I was thinking of altering with distress crayon. Got a little distress crayon here. This is Phantom Mist, which is one of the slightly sparkly distress crayons. And I think if one were to just rub it over this, you might get quite a nice kind of patina effect. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to do that on 4 of these. I think they were 50p for 9. I've already used 3 of them somewhere. So the distress crayon is great because you can apply it to all sorts of surfaces. We already used it over the crackle earlier, the peeled paint one. This is Phantom Mist and is a beautiful sort of soft coppery green. So it does have that effect, I'm going to have a little rub to see how much comes off. Or is this, they're on very strong. Oh, sticky stuff. I've had them in the stash for years. I think that sticky pad has had it. I'm going to have to glue my own sticky pad on. Yeah, you see, unfortunately, that's all rubbing off. So instead of that, what I'm going to use is going to be distress paint. Oh, well, we could use... No, because I like this is speckled egg distress paint. And I'm going to use a bit of that. And since we've got the Dina Wakley turquoise here, I might put a dot of that. And this is going to be, I think this is going to be a finger job probably. Just dabbing those on. Oh, see, that's quite full on because I've got lots of the turquoise. I'd rather have more of the speckled egg, I think. So we'll let the turquoise sit underneath. Let's go first of all with the turquoise. 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 Rub it on, knock it back. And with all paints, it will probably keep moving around until I dry it. So I'm going to dry that layer just a bit, bearing in mind the metal's going to get hot now, so I need to just be a little bit careful. Put on a little bit of speckled egg. Rub that in a bit. And then I'm going to knock that back a bit so that hopefully I get to a little bit of the metal look underneath as well. So again, it's kind of trial and error, because once the paint is dry, you might not get back to the metal, but then you can always use a sanding block, which will take off some of that paint. I sort of like the brightness of the turquoise, so I'm going to put a bit more of that back on. Had no idea I was going to end up altering metal today. I thought they were going on as metal, but as I looked at these, I realised I wanted to continue that sort of turquoisey affair that's going on, and the coppery patina is how I would say it, is a nice way to do that, these metal pieces. So let's wipe up all those bits. This is why I get mucky fingers. You can see you can see how it happens, can't you? But getting in there with your fingers is one of the best ways to find out what's going on. So can I get these off? I don't really need this bit of plastic. Yeah, so those foam pads that they were on have just perished over the years. Again, I'm going to dry this a bit, and then what I might do is use my little Paper Artsy sanding block to just knock it back in places and get some of that metal shining through again. I really need the paint dry to do that. Oops. Can you see what's happening there? The acetate butterflies are curling up in the heat. It's fine. You can always flatten them again. Anybody who saw my fodder challenge class knows that actually creating curved acetate with quotes on is one of my favourite things to do. So I'm just weathering those in places to give me a little metal gleam in places. Yeah, quite enjoying that. And you can go back and forth with as many colours, as many layers, as many different... Oh, you see those worms of paint come out? That was a joy. I couldn't do that again if I tried. Let's pop that there for now. Because what I might do with all that lovely paint while it's there is just have another little quick splatter onto these panels rather than just wipe up the paint. Yeah, quite enjoying those. Quite enjoying those. Yeah, set those to one side. You carry on with that. And let's just see if we maybe want a little bit of turquoisey splatter. That's quite thin-ish, but I should be able to get... Yeah, see, it's just waking it up again It's such a bright, vivid colour. It just gives you that little hit. And it's hitting the butterflies in places. Yes, it is. But that's fine. So my next task is going to be to get these butterflies attached. Now that I've got a painty surface on here, I might be able to get this distress crayon to stick to that. It didn't want to stick to the metal, but I think that it might be more willing to stay put. Over the paint. Very good. I will leave you to one side. Right, butterflies. What are you up to? I think it's going to be the thick, super heavy gel again, because it's going to mean the butterflies can hold in place. And I'm going to apply it to the twig, I think, because that's going to give me maximum contact. If I try to imagine where it is on the butterfly and get it wrong, that won't glue. You can see what I mean about this going down like peanut butter. And it's because it's that thick that it will actually just hold the butterfly immediately, because the butterfly is so light. It's just acetate. And this one. So I'm putting down just a sort of little blob of glue and then allowing the butterfly to hover over. If we move you, there's a knobbly bit of twig there that's just slightly annoyingly not allowing the butterfly to go quite where I want it. So I'm going to yield to the twig. You do have to yield to twigs. If they don't want to do a thing, it's best to listen, because you could spend hours trying to force the twig to do the thing you want it to do, and you're always going to fail. The twig will always win. Putting a little more glue further down so that I catch that butterfly's tail. Oh, that's making me so happy. I can't quite put into words what that did to my insides as I saw those butterflies start to hover. I hope you can see they're nowhere near our textured surface. They're flying over the top, and that is delightful. Yes, you can see white glue here at the moment, but in the long run, I promise you that is going to dry clear. So the effect will be of the butterfly perching on the branch. And that's the final one. Let's see if these do want to go on. They might not. Again, positioning is about having them in a slightly different place on each. Doesn't want to go up there. Maybe it wants to go down there. But that's now in the same relationship to this butterfly as this one is. But at the moment, I'm all right with that. At the moment, that's okay. So you're to the left, you're to the left, you're to the left, you're to the right. Would you go there? Did we just try that? What about down below and to the right? Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, ha ha. Very good. And having said that this works brilliantly on something so light, it's also going to be my glue of choice for these slightly heavier metal pieces. And again, just a little blob right in the middle, and then press it down, and it's holding straight away. Oh, see, hit the corner of the butterfly, don't do that. Oh, that's quite a lot, don't need all that. Blob. Down. And blob. Oops, sorry, off camera, apologies. There it is, putting it on there. And then all I want, being me, being words and pictures, got the pictures. Can you guess what it is? It's words. I want some words. And I've got various options here. I've got the Tim Holtz small talk stickers. Again, I could stamp some of my own quote stamps. I've got these clipping stickers. And at the moment, I'm looking for colour. I'm looking to see whether those creamy colours are going to make me happy. I'm catching my eye here is Learning to Fly, which seems like it might want to be here with all these butterflies, but is quite a dark brown colour. And they're not learning to fly anyway. They can fly perfectly well already, surely. They're butterflies. I think that I'm not... Well, let's see what other ones we can see. Just at the moment, quite like that. Big moon shines in the sky. Knowledge which costs nothing. See, the thing is, if I have one dark brown one, I'm going to be looking for other dark brown ones. I challenge the world. Butterflies don't really challenge the world, though, do they? They just... Ooh, see, look. Yeah, okay. I'm seeing things. If they were let to fly away. Let's have that. Come on, off you come. If they were let to fly away. Maybe that's you. Where did that flying one go? Learning to fly. Maybe that's you. I'm not fully sticking them down yet because I might want to peel them away again. The one that caught my eye that changed my mind was Hidden by the Shadows, which is very much my kind of thought. Hidden by the shadows and yet doing amazing things. So I've got one bottom right, I've got one bottom left. So we're going for the tops now. Hidden by the... Well, or are we? See, we'll find out. Hidden by the shadows. Does it want to be down? I still want to be down? No. Up. Maybe it's there. Or is it there? Let's say you're there. Just for argument's sake. And then we're looking for one more. She Could Believe. It's quite nice. And I would quite like a shortish one because I've not got as much space here to take me by surprise. Beautiful crown. I'm casting my eye down the darkish ones. She Dreamed Beautiful Dreams is lovely, but it's quite long. So it's between She Was Herself Again. Learning to Fly, Hidden by the Shadows. If They Were Let to Fly Away, She Was Herself Again. Yeah, see, it creates a kind of poem. But if it's going to really be in that order, it would want to be that way round. But I don't like that one over there. I like this one over here. If They Were Let to Fly Away, She Was Herself Again. But it doesn't want to go up. It does want to go down. Yeah, She Was Herself Again. Learning to Fly. If They Were Let to Fly Away, Hidden by the Shadows. And I quite like that Hidden by the Shadows, which is my favourite of those phrases, is the one that is up. In an ideal world, I might want 2 up, 2 down. But with what's on the page already, these are sticky, but they're not quite sticky enough. Not quite trusting them to stay put. So I'm giving them just a little bit of help. Hidden by the Shadows, particularly given, again, this is going across, certainly some of them are going across crackle paste texture, which means they have to work a bit harder to stay stuck. As witness, that's partly because my fingers are sticky, so it's having to choose between sticking to my fingers and sticking to the panel. Let's pop this one down. If they were let to fly away. If. Much virtue in if. It says touchstone in As You Like It. If is the word that gets you out of all sorts of trouble. I only said if. Now I'm just talking to myself and you're listening in. Good luck to you all. She was herself again. Nudge that up a little bit. See, you can see the glue hasn't dried on these, which is great because it means I can just nudge that out of the way. Ooh, so I think what I would like around those is just to balance the little twigginess I've got going on. I've got a little very fine brown pen. This is a Micron, Pigma Micron, and I think I'm just going to take it around those little phrases so that it echoes the brown twigginess going on just above. Am I on camera? Just on camera. So you can see that happen. I'm drawing a pen line. I'm guessing you can work that out. Because the glue's not dry, there's a little bit of glue getting on my pen nib. Can't be helped. Wipe it off and you should be fine. That's there. And it just gives those little phrases allows them to look a little more embedded in the panel instead of just stuck on. If you give them that little bit of outline. Gone off camera again, haven't I? You can tell I'm caught up in the creating of this as I keep not paying attention to where the camera is. Oh, see, those are making me really quite happy. I might just give them a little bit of edging to draw the eye into the middle. So this is Walnut Stain Distress ink, blending sponge, dab, dab, dab onto the ink pad. Let's just shut the glue so that it doesn't gum up again. And then pick up my cardboard. I'm going to be careful because my glue on my butterflies is not dry yet. And I'm just going to edge, coming away from it. I don't want to get low. You could ink onto this panel and have quite a distressed edge, but I don't want that everywhere. I might do a little bit of that in this corner, for instance. But otherwise, I'm pulling back and away just to create an edging around here. Because I've got that cardboard underneath. So again, it just allows that to tie in. If you have a look at that one compared to the others, just see how that draws your eye in. This is why I don't do zooming in the middle of a video, because now the camera's floating around and making you all seasick. But that probably is worth it, just to have a look at that. And I won't zoom out again. So you don't need to be seasick again. A little bit around there, and I might pick one corner to slightly come in a bit further. Yeah. Dab, dab, dab. Edge, edge, edge. So I will, as usual, create a little musical montage at the end so that you can take a proper look in close up at these. I'm being very careful not to hit that twig. And I'm just going to balance that butterfly floating again, just to press him into the glue to make sure he's at the angle I want him, because he had shifted a little bit. And last one. So just that little bit of inky edging can make a big difference in terms of drawing the eye towards where you want the eye to go, which is usually your focal point, which is usually somewhere towards the centre as opposed to right at the edge of a thing. But inking the edges allows you to take a look. So, do we want one final bit of white spatter, do you suppose? Question. Answer, probably yes. One final little bit of Paper Artsy Fresco Snowflake onto there. My scabby little spatter brush with a wet surface. Again, a bit too wet. Keep doing that today. I sometimes have a little dab off where I'm spattering to start with. Oh yes, you see, I do want to catch those butterflies, because what it does is it makes you really see that they're floating in midair. It just catches the eye to that magical hovering that they're doing. Yeah, very happy with that. That was a good few minutes of fun, but I think it was right to divide us into 2 episodes. So yes, catch the backgrounds in the other episode. That will be in the description below, the link. And then those are today's. I will hover over them with some music so that you can see them in close up. And I hope if you've enjoyed that, you'll hit the thumbs up button. Very mucky fingers, always a sign of a good time. Hit the thumbs up button, leave any comments or questions down below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's wonderful to have you along for the journey. I so appreciate all your lovely feedback and comments. It's so lovely to hear that you're finding this fun. I certainly do. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and happy crafting all.